Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of ATM Press Roundtable, talking about Atlantic Television Network here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Well, ATM Press Roundtable is a program for media professionals, most of who have paid their dues in the profession. They come here to profile news, to analyze news, to give in-depth analysis and perspective, objective views, and what have you. They're here to share their experience on trending news stories that have trended in the last 24 hours with our esteemed viewers, which includes you. Well, let's look at some of the trending stories. Illicit financial flows threatening economic stability, presidential aid. Adeleke hoarding FG palliatives sent to Osun State. APC alleges. University of Calabar suspends lecturer accused of sexual harassment. Naira gains about 15% as dealers dump dollar, count loss. Good story. Using official hours for private business punishable. CCB. NBF allows Tinubu to renewed insurgencies, advocates state police. And 6,000 people displaced by flood, banditry in Niger State, according to the deputy governor of that state. Well, these are some of the trending news stories. I'm sure you're watching us live on our various social media platforms, in whatever monitor you're using. And of course, you watch us on StarTimes 194. This is Press Roundtable live on Atlantic Television Network. We are going on a quick break. When we come back, I'll unveil my key speaker. But don't forget, my name is Bon Wookie. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. It is still Press Roundtable on Atlantic Television Network here in Garden City of Port Harcourt. Now let's look at some of the stories in detail, but don't forget, I'm here with my key speaker, a very resource person. I'm talking about Awaji, Ine Awaji.
Frank Enawaji.
Frank Enawaji.
Ogonono.
His name, it's a mouthful. It's Ogonono.
Thank you.
It's a mouthful. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Well, he's a journalist. He's a commentator on contemporary issues, and he's always around the media, doing what he knows how to do best. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Illicit financial flows threatening economic stability. Presidential aide said. The special advisor to the president on revenue, Dr. Adelabu Adedeji, says illicit financial flows is significantly eroding domestic revenues, enabling corruption and threatening economic stability and sustainable development. The presidential aide spoke on Thursday in Abuja at a one-day hybrid sensitization workshop on the published guidelines for private sector response to illicit financial flows, vulnerabilities in Nigeria. The workshop was organized by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. In Nigeria and across the African continent, we continue to suffer various forms of IFFs, including tax evasion and other harmful tax practices. The illegal export of foreign exchange, abusive transfer, pricing, trading, mispricing, misinvoicing services, exploitation, and under-invoicing of natural resources, organized crimes, and corruption. These are the issues affecting a lot of financial transactions in Nigeria. Sometimes most of these financial transactions are sourced. Revenue sources are sourced by federal government because the state government is not a very good businessman. But they are still reading with corruption. Organized crimes and a lot of or under invoicing of natural resources and a lot of that. Then tax evasion is one serious one. A lot of people make so much noise and you ask them, do you pay tax? And they will look at you, you'll be surprised that some businessmen don't even pay tax. And this is one of the things that are affecting revenue generation in Nigeria. FIRS is doing so much, but are they really collecting? The president talked about reforming the tax regime, the tax sector in the country, and he made a lot of changes and all that. Not so much is being done. Illegal financial flows threaten economic stability. That's the story.
Now, it's a good one for the public, but we must also come to understand that it is only the government that can do that, because the onus is on government to control what comes in and what goes out. And any government that is unable to control the financial system of its economy will eventually fail. And that is why when people say that government is not a good businessman, I feel disturbed, because it's such a way government cannot control what happens.
They are sourced virtually everything.
That is it. So you don't understand what to do. For me, I feel that, for instance, the setting up of ICPC or EFCC these are the ways to control the flow, or what we call the illicit flow of money. So the government can, in a way, checkmate what happens. Like you said, organized crime. Organized crime to also move further because of the inflow of money. But without money in circulation, also in the hand of those organized criminals,
internet fraud.
That is it. They cannot also operate very well and also sustain the operation. So I feel that the government should go beyond revealing to us the impact of the illicit financial flow in the polity. They should be able to see how to at least apprehend. But these things are done by human beings, not by spirit. It is only in Nigeria that somebody will tell us that monkeys swallow money, pythons swallow money, and that will be the end of the story. But in a advanced society where things are done with a human face, they will go beyond that. They will know whether it is true that a monkey actually swallowed the money, because this illicit financial flow ordinarily is against the ethics of financial conduct in any society, which in a way undermine the government policies, financial programs of the government and policies of government. And why is that do? Central bank must be up to date and must be doing what will in a way stabilize our economy. Because this is way money, what we've been told about 3-4 years ago, we did research that money outside the bank is more than money in the bank. So in such a situation, it means it will not also help business to at least to stand. But one of the things we must know that when government has lost the control of financial control, it means also this economy will be nosediving.
That's why there's no stability.
That's it. So when government should not also be shifting the duty of its own duty to the people, check, because there's always a doorway for such illicit trade to continue.
Yeah, now let me tell you, a lot of people said because a lot of financial transactions in Nigeria, sorry, that inflows that have to do with revenue, are being outsourced. That is the major problem we have in our revenue generation or in entire fiscal policy or financial policy.
Yes,
it's outsourcing virtually everything.
Because one, the government also, government cannot alienate itself from the failure of what is happening.
Okay.
Because if government wants to do it, they will do it. Now the issue, like we said initially, the issue of not being able to pay tax or taxes.
Exactly.
Government knows those people.
Tax evasion.
That is it. So who are those people not paying tax? And where are they doing their businesses? Are they doing it maybe in the internet or beyond the control of man? Today, even the advanced society are taxing those who are putting their businesses in the internet.
That's not happening here.
But it doesn't happen here. Even the ones that we do physically here, we are unable to even get the revenue from them, because we have been told in some society, in some countries on it today, they don't have oil. They survive on taxes.
Yeah, because what you're saying is important. A lot of people will tell you that they are serial entrepreneurs and all their businesses are online. Do they pay tax?
You must pay tax.
I'm going to ask this question to a financial expert one of these days. But it's good we throw up the question.
There's nothing without. See, you're like the data we call data. It's not money.
Yeah.
Data can be converted to real cash. So there is nothing you do. For instance, you load your maybe your assets with maybe 1,000 naira. Before you know, that money will go down. Somebody is taking the tax from there.
Tax?
I just say tax because it's a profit making you are doing.
Yeah, business. But the point is that I know a lot of businesses that are online. I don't know how they pay their tax.
Now,
what they pay, or is it as NCC aware of collecting tax from?
No, for now in Nigeria, I don't think they do that.
NCC doesn't.
No, they have not done that.
Any form of tax.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But what we need to do, like we are discussing now, that the government has a very important role to play.
Yeah.
To check what is happening in the area of finances, because there's no government that will be on it without checking financial transaction. Except you don't understand why you exist. No government exists without taxes.
So sorry. So let's end it here. We cannot have economic stability if the financial flow is not straightforward.
That is it.
And have a lot of illegal processes. Then that's what's going
on. Even in the oil sector.
Now you're talking about people not paying tax, a lot of internet fraud going on, a lot of business transactions that are practically online. They don't have offices. So they don't even pay tax and all that. So I think that the tax process, the taxing regime in Nigeria should be rejigged.
That is it.
Okay, let's look at this story from Osun State. He said, Adeleke hoarding FG palliatives. Osun State chapter of All Progressive Congress has accused the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, of refusing to distribute bags of rice received from the federal government as palliatives to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal on the people. The APC said that Adeleke received the assignment from the FGC 12 days before Thursday, and noted that the Adeleke was playing a dangerous game by refusing to disclose or distribute the items. The party further said 5 trailer loads of rice with other items donated by FG were sent to Osun State as the state shares of the people's palliative to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal. A statement signed by APC State Chairman Tajuddin Lawal, however, wondered that the state government, after receiving items, refused to announce to the people of Osun State that it has taken possession of the FGC's palliative. Governor Adeleke has simply described the allegation as lacking in merit. Well, he has responded.
No, thank God, because see, we must play the role of opposition party very well in this part of the world. But it's not because you are in opposition, everything about the main government is in a state of disorderness. Exactly. You have to be careful. Okay, how did you know that the Osun government has received the money? Has received the palliative? If you are not aware, there is need to put modalities in place. But like I said somewhere, we cannot also plan to win the battle of life, then want to do the extraordinary. One thing is very clear. Yes, they have received, or should say I received whatever they have received from the federal government. There is need for them to sit down. Because you must know whether Osun State is about maybe 21 AGA or whatever. There is need, but those things are for the people. You don't just share. You must sit down and begin to work with this, what politicians call stakeholders. How to actually send this thing to the people? Because for me, this thing should not end up in the hands of the early place.
That is the problem we have. That's the problem we have with this palliatives of federal government.
I'm not in support of this palliative.
Now, if we have getting palliatives, because we have had this, I think people are talking from hindsight.
Yeah.
Experience of Nigerians during the COVID.
That is it.
Where they were pocketed
and
hoarded and given to the wrong people.
Yeah, that's it.
Because palliatives actually should go down to the people. A ward chairman and all that. That is where these palliatives will go.
That's it.
Because at the end of the day, they will tell the ward chairman to compile lists of their members.
Yeah.
And the palliatives will go to them. Now, whether good or not, whether the palliatives are good or not, it's no longer the issue here. The issue is, if government has brought out these palliatives, must it be hoarded? Why not make it possible? Because open governance is important. What is happening in Osun State now is lack of open governance.
And
disclose everything to the people. Let the people know what is going on.
Again,
you are
right. And the government should be able to say, look, there should be a timetable for distribution of all these things. And again, the people, the target audience should also be made available, because a situation where the rich, but by my own little understanding, I feel the palliative is for the poor, the so-called the poor of the poorest. And if in the end, these materials are seen in the hand of the highly placed, of what importance?
Of the politically poor.
That is politically poor. You see, mentally.
Yes, politically poor, not mentally. That is, what is given to the poor falls in the hands of the rich. That rich man becomes a politically poor.
Oh, well, let me follow your statement. Of a truth, and the fear of the opposition party is that this thing may not be evenly distributed, which will in a way will also underpin the vision of the federal government sending this into the state government to see how to reach out to the people. So for me, now that it has become issue of argument, let the government of Osun State and other governments of the federation sit up and allow, we've heard of 5 billion naira giving for each state. Let also the money be used for the purpose, not diverting it to political parties' affairs.
I think the problem we have in Nigeria, sometimes we can be impatient. There's a government in every state.
Yes.
And this government should be allowed
to arrange
to take decisions on how to spend this money. Then if in the process, but we always raise a red flag when things are going wrong. And we set the agenda. I think what the public does is set the agenda most times. And sometimes the agenda looks like stampeding government, empty, and sometimes giving the impression that they don't know what they are doing. But let every state government plow this fund into useful ends,
so that the people will benefit from it.
for the benefit of the greater number of persons. Because when you look at Nigeria today, everybody needs palliative.
Yes.
Look at the demography of Nigeria. The middle class is gradually eroding. So today you have the poor and the rich.
Yeah, yeah.
Before you have the middle class, the upper middle class and the lower middle class. Now the lower middle class is going down, while the upper middle class is taking the lower
like a gulf.
The position. So we're almost having a kind of gulf, and the death, the near death of the middle class is something that will not augur well for development of any country, and it's biting on everybody. So this palliative should be used to take care of every segment of society.
It should be done publicly, not just because, like you just rightly referred to,
open governance.
The issue of when the COVID-19 palliative,
yes,
was like a issue of secrecy, which ought not to be so.
Exactly, and
when in Nigeria also, our leaders, because I have been able to look at what happens in a democratic society, the journalists are giving room to ask questions, whether good or bad, that affects the citizenry. So situation where, like what is happening in Osun State now, there is need for Osun State to at least come out and make a robust statement that will convince the people. Like, look, so time this thing will make public, and I will let there be a timetable, because I wouldn't want a situation where everything would not be seen. That before you know, there will be a press statement that has been done.
Exactly.
Where did you do it? In the atmosphere?
Yes.
Nigerians need this palliative, whether we believe it or not.
Yes, yeah.
But the issue is this: what is the one bag of rice? Tell us how you have distributed the one bag of rice.
Open governance.
That is it.
Let's end that narrative there. Let's look at a very important issue that has been troubling university system. UNICAL suspend lecturer. The management of the University of Calabar has suspended the dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Cyril Ndiofon, over allegations of sexual harassment. Ndiofon's suspension, which took effect from Thursday, followed a probe into the allegation of sexual harassment leveled against him by some female students of the faculty on Monday. A viral video on social media has shown the students of the faculty storming the office of the school's vice chancellor, Professor Florence Obi, wielding placards with inscriptions such as "Ndiofon must go for our sanity. We are tired of buying law journals. We are tired of lecturers not attending classes, and law girls are not your bonanza. Professor Ndiofon should stop grabbing us and others." However, the professor has denied the allegations, saying the protest was orchestrated by individuals within the faculty who held a grudge against him. In a letter to the school registrar, Gabriel Egbe, made available to newsmen Thursday through the university spokesman, Eyo Bassi, the management said it was unsatisfied with the response to a query served on Ndiofon. The good thing is that, like every journalist will have, like our stories being balanced, the prof has answered. The placards there is quite evident, and it reveals the grievances of the students, and they are quite there. So it's not just a matter of sexual harassment issue. There are a lot of issues that are involved, and for somebody who is heading law faculty, where people are tired of buying law journals, ordinarily nowadays, journals were found in the library, reserved section. You go there and read. So if students are made to buy law journals, then that's a big one.
You make more money.
And all that. And possibly journals written by the
faculty, by lecturers there.
And all that. So I think that, but even then, that can be looked into, because for you to sustain kind of journal, writing of journals and churning them out on a regular basis, you need to have fun too. But let's look at it generally. Sexual harassment, money for scores, sex for scores, and all that have become a bedeviling menace in our tertiary institutions. What's your take on this, General?
Well, this has become what we call a recurring decimal.
Yeah.
Like about 2 years or 2 years ago, a BBC undercover journalist made this public. Also, in one of our, we need, our lecturers must be very careful, because it is also sending a wrong signal to our educational institutions. of the way we go about our learning and teaching activities in our nation. Because, like for instance, now the issue of this allegation. If, for instance, you are harassing girls or female students, if they have an affair with you, you now make them to pass, even when they are not worthy to pass, or because they have bought the journal and when you ask them questions, they cannot answer. But doing what is not acceptable based on the educational standard, you have given them high marks to pass your exam. I believe it's not a good thing. Like you said also, let that be a kind of what I call serious probing, to be able to know the truth, not just the facts.
Not one-sided.
And not one-sided, because all these things happen. There was a time I was writing something. Just for one of the HODs to sign that thing, I was asked to pay money just for signature. That today I am doing for people free of charge. I'm asked to pay money. And again, it has become, I will use endemic. It has become pandemic because it is destroying the fabric of our education. Today now, it's like going to school does not make any sense, which is not a good thing. We must try and build the system. And those people like this person has, at least I'm able to go to the climax of what we call academic degree. I mean, even the title, professor, which is not easy for anybody to come by. And he has reached just such climax. It should not fall down, what we call anti-climax. It should not come down. You should be very careful. Therefore, I pray, because this is not only about University of Calabar, it's a general problem that we are hearing in almost all the higher institutions and even the secondary institutions in Nigeria. We need to fight hard to kill this monster, because it's a monster that is in a way destroying our system. So far as you can have an affair with a lecturer, you can have the A, and in the end, which will in a way tell our, last year, a university in Port Harcourt was trying to had a kind of a probe into the students who got first class, which ought not to be so. If you are adapting your product, then who are you? You sold a product out to go and sell in the society, only for you to think that what you have produced is not worthy to represent you. Okay. So we have to be very careful.
Now I think that the general thing is that sometimes people often talk about the fact that sometimes women, female lecturers, female students, are so seductive that they seduce lecturers and entice them and create an avenue, make themselves vulnerable for all this harassment.
Well, that's a different one.
Yes, there are those of them who are not brilliant. Because a brilliant student writes his exam, he has no business going to the lecturer's office. And when you go there, make yourself vulnerable, and lecturer demands one or two things which he ought not to. Because I said that if a lecturer is disciplined enough, I've been in academics, if you are disciplined enough, you don't have to in any way begin to insist. Mature relationship could exist.
There's no doubt.
Among lecturers and students, but not to a point of harassment.
If you don't do this, you will not pass.
Exactly. And then we also have the issue of students being so seductive and all. That should stop.
It's a fact.
There should be a kind of balance. The way they, even though that's not an excuse, some rapists say they dress. That's a lie. It's a lie. You have rape at the back of your mind.
That is it.
Why not go and rape a mad woman that's running naked in the street? Because you're talking about nakedness and all that. The issue of somebody being naked or not dressing well is not a good excuse. But to save the morality of the society, obscenity should not be encouraged and demonstrated in the public space. That is there, because not everybody is strong enough to run away from temptations.
No, you're right.
All right, so that's the much we can take there. Let's take this last story. We may not discuss it so that we'll go on a short break. Well, it's some kind of release from MBS. Naira gains about 15% as dealers dump dollar and count losses. Big story. Naira inched close to a 15% gain against dollar in the parallel market within a week, trading around 800 for a dollar in Lagos and Abuja yesterday evening. Reliable sources informed said that traders at major market clusters were hurriedly dumping dollars yesterday as fear of a further slide in the value of the greenback gripped the market. A trader who confided to newsmen that he was desperate and looking for an opportunity to offload his hoardings, said the Naira could appreciate to around 700 for a dollar this weekend. It sustained the rising momentum seen since the beginning of the week. But even amid panic selling, trading volume is still very low, underpinning the level of illiquidity.
Yeah.
Hence, many observers have dismissed the uptrend of the value of the local currency as emotion-driven, as opposed to strong market fundamentals. We'll look at this when we come back. We're going to a short break now because the issue of this kind of fragile update as it were.
Yeah, very fragile. It can be sustained.
It's not strong. It's emotion-driven and all that. Maybe something may have happened there. But my worry when we come back is the fact that the president said he was floating the Naira. And floating the Naira means there will be no parallel market. And we're still talking about parallel market. Don't go come back. When we come back on this short break, we'll look at that and more stories. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back. We're still talking about this issue. But don't forget, it's still Atlantic Television Network Press Roundtable. Let's look at the issue of Naira gaining about 15%, right? And people are dumping dollars.
It's a huge breakthrough.
Forex market observers there have said that is artificial. It's not sustainable. It's emotionally driven. But the worry there is the fact that the president talked about floating the Naira and there will be no foreign black market, parallel market in the system. Today we're still talking about black market, official market, black market, official market, and when you ask some people, they tell you there are no foreign exchange in central bank. And so what are we really doing?
The government must be sincere. But there's a way you are telling the public what you are not doing. People begin to doubt your credibility. As we are discussing now, dollars are outside the banking halls in Nigeria. If you can go to people at the illegal market,
on the road there,
and even exchange 20 million, depending on the amount of dollars you have. But when you go to bank, you have difficulty in doing that.
They even call Al-Hajis to come into the bank to give you foreign exchange.
That is it. So government has lost control.
A bank will call let me call my contact, and an Al-Haji will come into the bank to give you foreign exchange.
So where is the duty of the bank or central bank that will regulate every financial issue in Nigeria?
Fiscal policies.
That is it. So in a way, we have failed. Every country has what we call Bank of England, whether you call it central bank in America, bank of this. That is it. Because without the presence of that bank in the country, everything about finances, everything about finance is in jeopardy. And that's what you see is like an individual now is bigger than the economy of a nation, which ought not to be so. Ordinarily, so far you have an institution, somebody must obey the bylaws and the laws.
Well, let's hope that the reform in the central bank is going to turn the fortunes of this country around. Maybe that's why they have not implemented the Naira floating. They will still have the parallel market, and the reforms are going on. And the probing is still there. There's an acting person there. I think that the whole story is a solid and sad narrative. Let's look at this other story because we keep on talking about this. It should take 3 hours. Okay. Using official hours for private business punishable. Before you know. The Code of Conduct Bureau has warned workers of the Federal Capital Territory administration to adhere strictly to the Code of Conduct guiding public service by declaring their assets, as failure to do so will attract sanctions. The State Director of CTCCB, Suleiman Usman, said, unknown to many civil servants, pursuing private business during official hours is an offense that is punishable under the law. Usman issued a warning yesterday at a one-day enlightenment campaign in Abuja. We are here to enlighten the civil servants of FCT administration on the importance of asset declaration and ensure that we have total compliance. We also enlighten them on the Code of Conduct of Public Officers so that they will know their do's and don'ts alongside their responsibilities. Two issues there. One, asset declaration. A lot of people declare when they don't declare. When they declare, they under declare. There's some of the issues. There's corruption in every facet of Nigerian institution and practice. Then talking about civil servants not working. The problem I have is that there's no balance in the whole system. Doctors stay in the hospitals and they run their private clinics. And you say civil servants should not work.
And how much are you paying?
Are these different breeds of civil servants? Lawyers who teach in universities are supposed to be public servants, aren't they?
Yeah.
Does the law not cover them? They run their chambers.
Yeah.
So we have this problem.
Is it,
as if laws are made for a different set of people and not for other people. And so only the poor civil servants are aligned to any defined code of practice that are vulnerable to failing this kind of law because
well,
they can't go
as a framework as if maybe we don't know. It's trying to maybe unbundle for us to read more. These have been in place from the beginning of the civil service in this country. But the truth is that we must also say the government is not also sincere. Like issue of asset declaration, it has been. What about those who are in office and they're in office they're even public servant by virtue of being maybe a chairman of a council? Do you stay there and begin to build your own house? Let's suppose that you are a governor. You are beginning to build your own private house.
You can take loan and build your house. That's not the problem. But the problem we have there in that case, no, it doesn't mean if you're a public officer, you can build your house.
No, I'm not saying that.
Because
that will
there are a lot of loan schemes that are going around. But a proper declaration of an asset will enable the watching to know that you took a loan to build your house.
That is it.
You took a loan to buy your car.
Yeah.
Pay back. Is it sustainable? And all issues.
And that is what we are suffering in this part of the world.
Civil servants do a lot of things through loan schemes, and banks are there to help and all that. But the point is, people are not declaring their assets. And when they do declare, the same thing applies, and that's normally only the small civil servants. I remember you've left civil service for a long time. When we're in service, at the end of every program, they bring this season. They bring these forms.
To fill.
I will just fill. Declare the chairs in our house. We declare dining and declare for fridges and all that. Those who have don't declare because they are afraid of accounting for the source of the sources.
How they are
exactly.
But the issue is
when President Buhari declared, how many cattle did he say he had? And those cattle were as if they were not producing every.
And there was also,
if there were 12 cattle, it was remain 12. So it's not just about public servants.
Everybody.
Civil servant. It's also about public servants.
That is it. So like I said, this is like a theory for us. But the government also must be sincere. But it's not about the civil servant that you think you can use the sledgehammer on them and you feel you've done something, while others will do and go scot-free. This is not a good thing.
Yeah, I think that the bottom line is the CCB and other agencies want the civil service to be productive. If that is the message, it's well taken.
Right, it's good.
It's more productive because the civil service is the engine room of government.
And that's there from also motivation.
Yes, people come from outside and come into governance. Without civil servants, they can't operate.
Yeah.
Because all the directors, if it's Ministry of Works, you have director of architecture, engineering, this, that, designer. Without these people, you cannot formulate any policy and you cannot oversight any contract given to
anybody,
contractors.
even a contract.
So that's important. The civil servants are very important, but they must be productive. Well, let's look at this story. The National President, Middle Belt Forum, MBF, Dr. Bitrus Pogu, has urged President Bola Tinubu to be more proactive over renewed hostilities in the Middle Belt region and never give in or buy the argument that the development is merely armed herdsmen and farmers' insurgency. According to MBF, now is the time for Nigerians to make constitutional provisions for state police. So two things. If the country really wants to stop insurgency. In a chat with press, Pogu alleged that the ugly development looked more like a political agenda of some interest to frustrate the president, like they did to former President Goodluck Jonathan, probably because of the region from which they came from. He said, findings already conducted on development did not indicate that the renewed insurgencies in states such as Adamawa, Plateau, and Benue are about herdsmen and farmers, crisis, or conflicts alone. It appears to be an agenda by some ethnic groups who are uncomfortable with the incumbent administration, unquote. He alleged that plotters were trying to reintroduce the insurgency under the cover of religion to achieve their aims. This is very funny. So, you see, now the cat is, the cat is being let out of the bag. We are beginning to learn new narratives. All the conspiracy theories are coming out. That what is happening in the Middle Belt is not just about herdsmen, indigenous farmers, lot. There is a new trend of insurgency, which has political undertones.
And like he also said, it has religious also inclination.
That no is seen as being.
But yes,
it's political.
It's political. But the issue is this: the government, like thank God, they have also they have mentioned the name of Mr. President. They should look into it. Like just about 3 weeks ago in Plateau State, about 11, and nobody was arrested at the scene of the crime. Villages were invaded, people killed, houses destroyed. So it's like you said initially, an organized crime where people in government are aware of what is happening. It is when the action is done and the invaders out of the scene, you now see security agents moving in. Oh, they will blow siren. One. Before you know, they will now arrest innocent people. While the main culprits, they have gone away. And again, like he just even in this Benue too, was it about last week? There was also killing in Benue, which for me I am.
And in Plateau State.
Yes, I am not in support. The federal government of Nigeria should be able to look at this thing with the human face and say, look, insurgency will never do any country any good. Because one, is affecting the life of Nigerians. Two, also, is causing a kind of unproductivity. But if we are talking about food security, and we are talking about herdsmen and farmers clashes every day, what is actually posing a dangerous trend to our food security that this government says they want to see how to work on. So for me, I feel that there should be an aggressive and robust policy by the federal government to even go into those places and monitor what is happening. Like this person, they have done a research, which I tend to agree with him in a way, because what is happening is political, and people are using it to cause confusion, even for the government,
to destabilize the government.
That is it. And people are also meant to. Can you imagine you live in your community as not even as a stranger, as a slave? Because I was told in some communities in the north and north central, they pay taxes to these hoodlums,
bandits.
before you leave.
Before you can go to farm.
That before you can go to farm, you can imagine, was it two years ago that 45 transformers were killed, and what I hear from the military that they did not obtain permission. And me as a fisherman, I want to access my river, which is in my community, and I will now go to the Nigerian police, maybe far from my village, to obtain permission before I access my river. So for me, this particular revelation should not be maybe looked down on. There is need for the federal government of Nigeria to be proactive and work on it.
All right, let's just take this and then summarize and trail off. 6,000 people displaced by flood banditry in Niger State. Deputy Governor of Niger State, Yakub Garba, says flood and banditry have displaced over 6,000 people in the state. Speaking in Abuja, when he visited Mr. Mustafa Habib Ahmed, the Director General Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Garba said there was a need for NEMA to assist the state in tackling the issues. He said flooding was causing serious devastation in the state. According to him, Niger State has been having issues of insecurity, of which he can't talk so much about, and it's serious. Aside from that, the weather forecast of this year showed adverse consequences of flooding, which have been witnessed in Niger State. Further explained that state government has sensitized the people in affected areas to relocate to safer lands. Well, generally, we're talking about the problem of
flood and banditry.
Recently, how many soldiers were killed? About 36 soldiers.
That's it.
In Niger State.
So for me,
there was this ambush.
Yes.
36 Nigerian soldiers.
And nothing was done. No action was taken.
It's still being talked about.
No, I mean, being swift to see how to handle this. For me, I feel also the number given is underestimated.
Now the story there is that he's calling on NEMA to assist. Because the problem we have in this country...
For palliative.
Yes. No, not just palliative. The problem we have in this country is how to mitigate natural resources. Natural disasters. We don't know how to solve natural disasters. And we've been lucky in this country we don't have much of natural disasters that
thank God, though.
In America and Europe. Because we can't manage it.
We can't manage it.
And we have NEMA and we can't manage it.
Like Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Rita, Typhoon.
We don't have... we have institutions, but these institutions...
No, they can't manage.
Don't have the capacity to manage. Well, that's the much we can take on today's program. Talking about Press Roundtable, which comes to you live here on the frequency, 7 to 8 every day, Monday to Friday. Don't forget, tomorrow is another day, but not for ATN, not for Press Roundtable, but for ATN Saturday, our magazine program. Don't forget also to watch us on our social media platforms there on the screen. That's virtually on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and what have you. Our app is there, ATN Live on YouTube and Facebook, Atlantic Television Network, ATN Press Roundtable. We provide right narrative and news direction. Global News comes up next at 9 p.m. tonight. So don't go away, but don't forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Give peace a chance. I will always say, whatever you do should be a building block for peace. Because peace must be our watchword if we must make every progress. It should not be something that we pay lip service to. My name is